What's crack, big dogs? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the headquarters. Sporting my new Sour Patch Kids t-shirt. It's one of my favorite things about New York City. It's like you walk downtown and every block that you go on has a handful of the fucking dumbest stores of all. Whoa, shit. Forget to mute my YouTube tab. Scares the shit out of me. Now, okay, you know what? That's fair. That's karma, because now I know how y'all feel when I come in with the intro. Damn. I just inceptioned myself. My intro just scared the shit out of me, so I can only imagine what it does to you guys. Yeah, they just have a weird collection of stores and shirts. Like one you walk down one block and it's strictly a Sour Patch Kids store. The next building over is a Russian bar that you have to put on a fucking trench overcoat because it's negative 30 degrees. That's the only way you could survive in there. I'm also sweating because I've been running away from my problems all weekend. I was just working out for the first time in like a month, so excuse my disgusting figure. It is Q&Aassault. It is Q&Aassault Saturday, and as we always do with Q&Aassault Saturday, we start out looking at the biggest movers in fantasy football rankings over the last week. Q&Aassault Saturday is where you get to ask me any of y'all's questions. To be inside the Q&Aassault chat, you must be a big dog or a goat member. You must be part of our membership community available on BDGE.store. If you are a Patreon member already, we are shifting over from Patreon to the BDGE store, okay? So cancel your Patreon membership straight up. Cancel that shit. Go over to BDGE.store and sign up for either Big Dog membership or the GOAT membership. And I'll see y'all on Saturday. What's good in thy chat? How are we? How art we? Senate loves your abs. Don't we all? No one likes my fucking abs, to be honest. All right, let's start off with throwing to the Discord, everyone. We are live. We are live. Come yell at me. Cool. All right, let's pop up the biggest fallers over the last week in fantasy football. Let me put the chart up here. We've got John Brown, who just has not been impressing at camp. We've heard just tons and tons of hype about Bryan Edwards, and I think John Brown is done. I think he's washed. I think we've gotten the best we could out of John Brown. That was last year, whatever we could have squeezed out of him, but it looks like it's Bryan Edwards and Darren Waller's team to take over in the passing game. David Johnson moving down, obviously, because he did not get any first or second down snaps in their preseason game. It was all Phillip Lindsay. He played on third downs, but it looks like he will not be the starter there. Rashad Bateman obviously moving down because he had the groin surgery. He's going to be back hopefully in September, but that's optimistic thinking, and he's got to be off your board in season-long drafts. Like I say, don't find injuries. They're going to find you. Don't draft a guy who's fully injured. Deshaun Watson, I don't know why he's moving down again. Deshaun Watson stocks are like fucking Bitcoin stocks, man. They just move up and down, and you don't know why the fuck they're doing it. Just you got to make sure that you got him at the right time. I don't know. I don't know what to make out of Deshaun Watson. Anthony Ferkser, he was in a full timeshare. It seemed like in his time at tight end during the first preseason game, which is why I moved down. Traquan Smith still missing practice time, and Marquez Callaway's shooting up draft boards, which makes a lot of sense. Myles Gaskin, I've yelled about him enough in my videos in the last week or so. He was splitting time with and lost the starting role for the first preseason game to Malcolm Brown. We'll see if that sticks into the second Oh my God. Into the second preseason game. Fuck. Sorry, I just heard some just got a text that was some mind-bending news right there. Sorry, let me focus up. Myles Gaskin, yes, splitting times with Malcolm Brown. Malcolm Brown got all the third down snaps. Malcolm Brown got the inside the 5-yard line snaps. So Myles Gaskin, I don't know. Rashad Perriman moving down. I think there was a report that Tyrell Williams is operating as the number one over there. I don't know. They're all late round flyers in Detroit. Alan Lazard moving down because we've had a lot of hype pieces on Marquez Valdes-Scantling over the recent weeks, I'm assuming, and he is probably not going to be the wide receiver 2 there. He might not even be the wide receiver 3. He's probably the 4 behind Devontae Adams, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, Randall Cobb, Obviously, Tunyon's there. Aaron Jones is there. So Lazard is just you're a dreamer at this point. Adam Troutman moving down because he was not playing on a lot of the passing down snaps and was blocking a lot in their first preseason game. So Troutman is a big mover down the draft boards. And then Latavius Murray. There was a report that said he might not make the team, which is shooting him down the draft board. So those are the biggest fallers over the last week. All make sense. All have reasonable explanations except for Deshaun Watson. Let us pull up the biggest risers of the last week. Malcolm Brown, as I just stated with Myles Gaskin, the preseason usage was inspiring. The most least inspiring usage by a running back of all time was Malcolm Brown in the Dolphins' first preseason game. We'll see if that sticks in week 2. KJ Hamler had a nice touchdown reception from Drew Lock in the first preseason game. KJ Hamler is just a specimen at the wide receiver position. He's small, but he is so damn fast, and there was a lot of hype around him last offseason. You feel uncomfortable drafting any of the Denver Broncos wide receivers at this point, right? Judy, Cortland Sutton. You don't know what's going to come with the quarterback situation. So Hamler, if you want to get cute, take him as a late-round flyer, sure, but I'm not expecting much from him. But it was an exciting play. Philip Lindsay, as we already talked about with David Johnson, he was in on the first and second down snaps with the starters, so he looks to be the starter there for now. Quez Watkins has completely supplanted Jalen Reagor. And to be honest, Quez Watkins has been running with the first team for 100% of the snaps. He has been playing in the slot exclusively when they moved to 3 wide receiver sets. So Quez Watkins seemed to be the number 2 behind Devonta Smith. We got to see Devonta Smith in some game action this weekend, which was sexy to see. And what this does for me in terms of Devonta Smith, it makes me like him more. Because I think one of the reasons maybe some people were pulling back on the idea of Devonta Smith being the alpha in Philly was maybe Jalen Reagor just had an off rookie year and we could kind of wipe it behind us. But Jalen Reagor falling further and further and further behind on the depth chart just makes that gap between Devonta Smith and everybody else that much wider. So Quez moving up, good late round flyer, explosive as fuck. The guy runs a 4.35 40-yard dash. He's a slot guy, but he will have, like we saw in the first preseason game, he busted off for a 70-yard touchdown. He will have amazing plays this year. It's just not a passing offense you want to invest a lot in. So late round, Quez Watkins, best ball 16, 17, 18. Go for it. Marquez Callaway seems to be another kind of alpha there in New Orleans while Michael Thomas is gone. So we like Marquez Callaway a lot as a late round guy. He's a good route runner. He is speedy. He is athletic. So grab Marquez Callaway, not Traquan Smith. Ramondre Stevenson's obviously looked fantastic in preseason usage. He's not going to have a role in the regular season, guys. As someone who touted Ramondre Stevenson in the offseason and took a whole lot of shit for it, like I'm a fucking toilet bowl, he's looked great. The guy can't stop scoring touchdowns. If you've been playing him in preseason DFS, rack up that revenue. But, guys, it's Damian Harris and James White's backfield. They have played. Ramondre Stevenson hasn't got a single snap with the first team guys. It's been Damian Harris for 65% of the snaps, James White on every passing down situation, and Sonny Michel has taken like 5% of the snaps. So it's Damian Harris on early downs and goal line. It's James White on passing downs and third downs. Josh Palmer is a guy who's getting a little bit of hype. He's looked good in preseason. He has basically taken over the number 3 role behind Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. So he's a late round guy. Be happy if you took him in rookie drafts. If you have a dynasty startup still ongoing, I would grab him late. Tyrell Williams, as I said, news that he is the alpha there. I'm not really buying into it. Chuba Hubbard had the big runaway, breakaway play in their first preseason game. He's a handcuff at this point. At this point, I will throw Chuba into the conversation of you want to draft A.J. Dillon if you have Aaron Jones. You want to draft Tony Pollard if you have Ezekiel Elliott. If you have C-Mac, you want to draft Chuba Hubbard. At this point, I think I feel confident enough saying that he is the clear-cut handcuff behind Christian McCaffrey. Logan Thomas, admittedly, is a guy that I have on my all-fade list in the draft guide up on BDGEstore.com. That's a lie. It's just BDGE.store. There's no fucking .com in it. We ain't the government over here. I wish I could have made my site BDGE.gov. I feel like they would have fucking put me in jail for some reason. I don't know why they're so strict about that shit. If you're still having trouble accessing the draft guide, by the way, again, the reset password button feature on the website should be working now. Just check your spam folder if you do the reset password and it sends to your email. Make sure you check your spam before reaching out to us. info@bigdogsfantasy.com if you do need help still logging on. Logan Thomas has looked really good in preseason so far. He has played 100% of snaps, and I'm coming around to the fact that he was in every efficiency per target per reception metric last year. He was not in the top 25 for tight ends. He was a volume guy. I'm coming around more and more to the fact that a lot of that had to do with low ADOT for Alex Smith, more so than Logan Thomas being a playmaker. So he's not an all fade for me anymore. He's not a guy I'm necessarily targeting, but I'm okay with him falling to me. So those are the biggest risers and fallers. Let's get assaulted by y'all's questions. Again, if you want to be in the live chat next week, bdge.store. You'll find the memberships on there under the community tab. Let's see. What's good, Nikki? What up, FF Reach? Who's the backup running back in New Orleans? Man, this is a tricky situation. So here's what I'll say. They let go of Stevie Scott. They brought in Devonta Freeman. And then there was the report/rumor of Latavius Murray possibly getting cut. I would put the chances of Latavius Murray actually being cut as like 5%. I think when all is said and done, they will keep Latavius Murray, and he will be the backup again. And I know they just picked up, I believe they just picked up or have an undrafted free agent that's, for whatever fucking reason, getting a little bit of hype over the last couple days. And his name was, this is how irrelevant he is. I forget what his fucking name is. Give me a second while I pull it up. I'm begging you. Tony Jones. So right now on their roster, they have Kamara, Latavius Murray, Devonta Freeman, Dwayne Washington, Ty Montgomery, Tony Jones, Alex Armo, who's a fullback. So Kamara, obviously the guy. I think they're going to keep Latavius Murray, and he's going to be the guy. Ty Montgomery might get a little play. It'll probably be between Devonta Freeman and Latavius Murray. If Devonta Freeman's healthy this offseason, maybe he shows a little bit more. You know, I've been down on Devonta Freeman for the last couple of years. Loved him as a Falcons fan, obviously. But last year when the Giants picked him up, I was like, there's no way this guy is going to withstand an actual workload when he's on the field. And then within like 2 weeks, he got hurt, of course. If Devonta Freeman can play like a Latavius Murray type role from last year where he's getting 8 to 10 touches a game, I think you could see a pretty good production scale from a guy like Devonta Freeman if he makes the team. So I still think it's Latavius Murray. I think whatever that report was, I feel like was getting cute and probably had no substantial backing to it. What up, everybody? We got 15 people in here. Why y'all not yelling questions at me? Does the ETown Get Down League use Fab? Yes, we do. I use Fab in every league that I am in. We switched a rule this year with Fab. So the way we do it is obviously you can't pick up anyone Monday or Tuesday because that'd be nonsense. No matter what system you're using, waivers process on Wednesday morning. Doesn't matter if it's Fab or waiver wire, blind, but whatever. We use $100 Fab for the regular season. It doesn't matter if you use 1,000. Doesn't matter if you use 100. It's all the same relative to everyone getting the same amount of money. We do $100. The blind bid processes every single morning, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday at 5 a.m. Eastern time. We are switching Sunday morning. Sunday morning will now be free agency. It is free for all pickups because with COVID, it's gotten a little tricky where guys could be ruled out on Sunday morning. And if you like typically in a normal year without COVID, right? You will know whether or not you need to, like, say you're rostering one tight end, right? And then he sprains his ankle on Wednesday, and then all weekend he's limited, right? So you know, like, okay, Saturday, let me pick up a tight end just in case he gets ruled out. If the blind bid goes off on Sunday morning at 5 a.m. and you're not allowed to pick up players after that, and then at like noon, someone gets ruled out because they have a positive COVID test, you're kind of fucked. So we're trying to get away from that. In Yahoo, where we had our league platform originally running, they didn't allow customizability where you could do blind bids on certain days and then free agency on other days. So now that we moved over to Sleeper this year, we have the customizability and the flexibility to do that. So I'd suggest you guys do the same. Set it to where there's Fab, blind bids, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, free agency, pickup, free for all, whatever. Liam, what's good? He says, would you trade away Tyler Lockett and Javonte Williams for CD and Devin Singletary full PPR? Okay, guys, when you ask these questions, all I need is as much context as possible. So I don't know if this is a dynasty league or a redraft league, so this is a little bit difficult to answer. If this is a dynasty league, I am going to hold on to Tyler Lockett and Javonte Williams. If this is a redraft league, I am going to hold on to Tyler Lockett and Javonte Williams. It doesn't matter. I don't think at the end of the year, Lockett and CD will be that far apart in terms of scoring. And I think Javonte Williams has so much more upside than Devin Singletary. And obviously in both redraft and season long. So yeah, I would stick with the Lockett and Javonte side. In redraft, I'm having a hard time choosing between Eckler and Aaron Jones, as well as Mixon and Najee full PPR. Okay, so right now I am going back and forth on Eckler versus Aaron Jones in the full PPR settings. I'm having a little bit of difficulty. Realistically, at the end of the day, I think they're both going to be phenomenal. I think they're both going to finish with, 16 to 17 full PPR points per game. And I don't think when we look back, we're going to have that big of a difference. What I think is we're almost guaranteed. I don't want to say guaranteed, but there's a really good chance that Eckler doubles the amount of receptions that Aaron Jones has. So even if he's not getting the goal line work, I think I think the bust potential, and a lot of you guys might disagree with me here. I think the bust probability for Aaron Jones is higher than Eckler. I think the likelihood of hitting their upsides is probably higher for Aaron Jones. So I think there's a wider range of outcomes for those two guys, because looking back, you can clearly see a path where we say, holy shit, like Aaron Jones finished the year with 180 carries. A.J. Dillon had 160 carries. And A.J. Dillon took 50% of the goal line carries. How did we not see that coming? They told us all summer he was going to play a big role. He's really big. He did second-round draft capital. He looks great when he's on the field. Very clear vision of seeing how Aaron Jones doesn't hit his upside or fails to return first-round draft capital. Eckler, the only downside to Eckler is that he doesn't get goal line carries. He's going to get 110 to 130 targets. He's going to catch 70 to 90 passes this year, and he's going to run the ball 150 to 200 times this year, right? We remember what he was like when Melvin Gordon was out for those first 4 games of the season. So in full PPR, it's so fucking close. I think it's more of like a risk-averse thing, in my opinion. If you want to gamble and want to shoot for more upside, go Aaron Jones. If you want a safer play, I think Eckler's receiving floor is going to boost him up like 3 to 4 fantasy points per game higher than almost every fantasy running back right now. I love that offense. I want as many pieces as possible, as well as Mixon and Najee. I think that I have... after I rewatched the preseason games from last night, and there's not a lot of takeaways, obviously, but Mixon, I just feel like is set up to they're in super similar situations. If you think about it, they're going to be 3-down workhorses behind shitty offensive lines in offenses that have stellar weapons already. I will probably take Mixon here. I think that there's not a huge edge for one or the other. I just think that Mixon is going to be the bell cow that he's been reportedly used as. I think Najee's going to be bell cow as well, but I don't know. Something in me just tells me to go with Mixon here. If you're picking at 5 in a full PPR redraft league, do you favor the safety of Zeke or the upside of Kamara? Okay, so it's full PPR. I'm going to probably lean with Kamara. There are a few things that have concerned me very recently with Zeke, and it's probably going to drop him down to I think I have him at, what do I have him at, 4? I think I have Zeke at 4 and Kamara at 5 right now. I have to tweak my rankings a little bit because we've heard two. Sorry. Give me a second. I got shit in my throat. I got shit in my eyes. I got a fucking fly in my fucking throat. Remember that video that with the reporter with the fly that went down his throat? Me and my friends used to get stoned as fuck and just watch that video. It's like a 15-second video. We used to watch it like 200 times in a row. Shit flying in my mouth. Okay, spit that shit. So there were 2 things that happened. One, the report of Dak's injury possibly lingering into the regular season. I believe that came out this morning. That's a little bit nerve-wracking. I don't like that. That will hurt the high-poweredness of the Dallas Cowboys for a couple weeks into the regular season if the reports are true. If what they're saying out there rings true. For the offensive line, I want to say that someone on the offensive line left practice the other day, and it was mildly concerning. It might have been La'el Collins. Let me triple check. I haven't been able to get into the nitty gritty of the news because I've been working on updating the draft guide for y'all. No reports on it, but I swear I saw on Twitter that someone like tweaked their neck or their back, and it was someone really good on the offensive line for the Cowboys. La'el. How do you even spell La'el Collins? Okay, never mind. We good. Lyle Collins expected to play for Cowboys versus Texans after leaving practice on Wednesday, so it is nothing serious. Let's look at an injury update for Tyron Smith. I didn't know he was hurt. This feels like fake fucking news. And Dallas is coming off a year during which he and okay, so they're talking about last year's. Okay, so I guess no concerns on the offensive line. But as far as like PPR goes, I probably would lean Kamara because he's got to be catching 200 passes this year. Najee or Gibson in PPR redraft. I'm kind of worried about McKissick not being good. I'm more worried about Pittsburgh not being that good. I think Gibson has looked phenomenal. There is a little bit of concern in terms of his third down play. So McKissick has been playing on every third down snap for Washington. That being said, though, like Gibson had 9 touches in the first quarter of Washington's preseason game last night. His workload's going to be there, and he is getting targeted on first and second downs. I'm going to go with Najee. I'm going to go with Gibson because I think that he just provides an upside that Najee can never hit. Sorry, 3 wide receiver redraft. I believe I would go with I would still go with Lockett and Javonte Williams. Let me try to get to these questions a little quicker. What up, Nick? What up, Ryan? Franchise redraft, 12-team PPR. I have option for only one player. C-Mac in the first round, Mahomes in the 6th. Only one keeper for each team. We draw for draft position on draft day. Yeah, so if that's not Superflex, you're going with C-Mac. This is a huge mistake I see a lot of people in keeper type leagues do, is worry too much about value when it comes to keeper. At the end of the day, you want the fucking best player available to you as the keeper. If it's a tiebreaker, right? If it's like for instance, if it's like Mixon in the 3rd or Najee Harris in the 6th, because I view them so similarly, give me the round value difference. But in a 1 quarterback league, assuming that's what this is, C-Mac and Mahomes are worlds of difference in terms of tiers. C-Mac is the best player available. There's no way you let the best single player available go back into the player pool when you have a chance of keeping him. Okay? So don't worry as much about value when it comes to keepers. You want the player that's going to help you win your fucking league. I don't care if it's like Derrick Henry in the 2nd or CeeDee Lamb in the 15th. The value of the keeper rounds, guys, take the best player that you can. If they have league-winning fucking upside, you don't let them go back into the player pool. I don't care what round you're getting to keep somebody else in. Sorry to blow up the chat, but would you do that trade if it was A.J. Dillon instead of Javonte Williams? Dude, that's why you're fucking here. You're here to assault me with questions. You're here to blow up this chat. The more the fucking merrier. What was the question? So would you trade away? So now the question becomes, would you trade away Tyler Lockett and A.J. Dillon for CD and Devin Singletary full PPR? It definitely makes it more intriguing because with Javonte Williams, he's the starter as early as like halfway through the season. A.J. Dillon, as long as Aaron Jones is still there, A.J. Dillon is a complimentary piece for 2 years, 3 years probably, because Aaron Jones got that contract. So that makes it a lot more favorable. I think it's fair. I don't know if I would say like I would, without a doubt, pull the trigger on that because to me, Devin Singletary, I look at as like a throw-in, a non-factor in that trade. So it kind of becomes Tyler Lockett and A.J. Dillon for CeeDee Lamb. I think there's probably like a couple weeks you might be able to use Devin Singletary in your lineup this year, and then by next year he's kind of irrelevant in Dynasty in my opinion. So that being said, like how much do you love CeeDee Lamb? If you think CeeDee Lamb is a top 5 fantasy Dynasty wide receiver, which he's like borderline, you can go ahead and pull that trigger if you don't need depth or anything. I think it's fine to pull that trade if you want CD. I don't think it's a clear-cut dub though. You know. Full PPR, redraft, picking 7, keep 1. Make the case for and against Swift, round 6, McLaurin round 6, Ayuk round 12. 1, don't tell me what to do. 2, here's the way I'll look at it. I will So here's an example of where like you might say, "Ooh, Ayuk round 12 because the value is there." Ayuk is a tier, if not 2-3 tiers, way below guys like Swift and McLaurin. So for me, Ayuk is out because here's the thing: like you're saying that you love the value of a 12th round keeper because now you still get to keep your 6th round pick. The bad news is that 6th-round pick is more like a 7th or 8th-round pick because you have 11 other people also keeping players, which means an entire round is off the board by the time you get to 6th-round pick. So that's really the value of getting back your 7th or 8th-round pick. At that point, it doesn't really fucking matter. So because Ayuk is a tier below, 2 tiers, 3 tiers, 4 tiers below these guys, I'd push him down. Swift versus McLaurin, very close. Since it's full PPR, I have a feeling Swift is going to catch a ton of passes this year. McLaurin's obviously going to catch a ton of passes too. But when it comes to tiebreakers, I always side with running backs. So those guys are kind of in the same tier for me. I'm keeping Swift there because give me a fucking running back over a wide receiver. What are your favorite stacks this year in redraft? I've gone over the Chargers stack multiple times. Love me, Herbert, Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, anything in that offense really. Really like because you can get Seattle's receiving group pretty much at value. Like if you have the turn pick, you can grab like DK Metcalf at 212, 3-1, and then also get Russell Wilson at 612, 7-1. Same thing with Tyler Lockett is like the 412, 5-1. I think the ADPs kind of work out perfectly for that, where you can stack that team. I like if DeAndre, I don't want to move up for DeAndre Hopkins. I don't want to take him at like the 2-5, but if he falls late 2nd round, early 3rd round, then I would love some D-Hop and Kyler Murray action. Some stacks like that. Eric, what up? 10-team redraft. 10-team redraft, half PPR for running backs. PPR at wide receiver. Ooh, interesting. Okay. In the second, are you picking on Najee, Mixon, or taking a tier 2 wide receiver if they are there? I will. I mean, it's kind of the same question with Mixon and Najee before. As I said, I probably really slightly lean towards Mixon right now. And I'm definitely taking them over wide receivers because in a 10-team league, like even more wide receivers are going to be available. And also depending on how many wide receivers you start, if it's 2 wide receivers, then that makes him even less valuable. If it's 3, maybe you think about it, but I'm still probably taking a running back because 10-team league, like there are going to be so many wide receivers available in the middle rounds that you can throw into your lineup. The smaller the league type, the less wide receiver starters there are. The easier it is to fade them as the drafts go on. With the Cowboys news, great name, Chipper. With the Cowboys news in a PPR league that's start 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, would you consider Devonta Adams at the 4th pick if it goes C-Mac, Cook, Kamara? C-Mac, Cook, Kamara. I wouldn't hate it. I still am not a huge. I just can't find myself pulling the trigger on a wide receiver in the 1st round, no matter what, man. Listen, like league winning upside. Here's the thing: like Zeke is. I don't want to say he's guaranteed, but he's extremely likely to average 20 points per game this year in PPR. Over the last 10 years, there have been like 5 wide receivers that have averaged 20 PPR fantasy points per game. It happens every year with running backs. It happens very rarely with wide receivers. And because the positional value of running backs is so high at the top end and it's not that big at the wide receiver position, I still lean running back over wide receiver. Even in PPR, even in start 3 wide receivers, I still go Zeke. Even like Henry, if you want to fuck around, I'd probably more so likely to go with Zeke because Henry's not going to catch passes. But yeah, I still probably go Zeke over Devontae. What are your feelings on the news about CH injury? Where do you feel safe drafting him now? Okay, so really interesting. So when I wrote up, basically the one of the pieces of one of the exclusive novels in the draft guide, which you can cop on BDGE.store again, is I do a write-up after the preseason. Each week the preseason goes by, I do a full write-up on the biggest takeaways from the preseason. I started writing Thursday and Friday slates this morning, and I put it out. It's live right now on the site. And Clyde Edwards-Hilaire's takeaway was optimistic at first because they said it was a low ankle sprain. So I'm thinking, okay, they have 3.5 weeks until kickoff. The low ankle sprain will not be concerned. He said it's not a high ankle sprain. Okay, good. We're fine. This will push CH's ADP back to that uncomfortable like mid-second round range to late 2nd, early 3rd. And I'm like, now we gobble it up because he's going to be healthy and we get him at value. Then they said it was an inside ankle sprain. Whatever that really means, I don't know, but it set off alarms for a lot of the doctors on Twitter. And I actually posted the new video that Dr. Morrison, the fantasy doctors, put up on their YouTube in the Draft Guide Bible Update video article. You could watch it. They're concerned. We don't know if it's a grade 1 or grade 2 sprain yet, which is going to be the difference maker. If it's grade 2, it's Michael Thomas again. If it's grade 1, it's going to take 3-ish weeks to heal. It'll be right on the borderline of when the season starts. So keep a really close eye on the injury reports. From what we've heard so far, it's best case scenario. Still a little bit concerning, but I am a little bit optimistic about it. He played all 6 snaps with the starters right away, and then he hurt his ankle, so it was good what we saw from him. Darrell Williams is in the concussion protocol, so right now we don't really know who the backup is. It might be Jerick McKinnon. If CEH starts to fall to like the 3-1, 3-2, 3-3, I'm probably going to pull the trigger on him right now. If you still have to grab him at like the 2, 5, 6, 7, I'm going to hold off on that right now because we don't actually know any of the x-ray scans about it, and it could end up being grade 2 and be Michael Thomas level shit from last year. How does going to 6-point passing touchdowns impact your Superflex quarterback rankings? Okay, so that would move up guys like... Mahomes is the clear-cut one. I don't think Kyler Murray would be in the same tier with him anymore. Lamar Jackson probably drops below a guy like Josh Allen for sure. Josh Allen moves up to the 2. Kyler Murray probably still the 3. But again, what it does is just give a little bit more push towards guys that throw passing touchdowns. Like Aaron Rodgers would jump up to right up. I would probably put Rodgers over Dak Prescott. I would put Dak Prescott for sure with the injury news. But he would go up probably above guys like Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott, things like that. And then you got to like guys like Tom Brady more than Jalen Hurts. You got to like guys that throw the ball, that throw the ball for a living. It's minor tweaks. I don't want you to get crazy over 2 points per passing touchdown, but it could be the difference, obviously. So you put a little bit more emphasis on Tom Brady's, on Matt Stafford's, on guys like that. It's just a little tier adjustment. Thank you for the candor. Didn't mean to tell you your business. I don't even remember what comment you're referring to, so no apology necessary. 3 wide receiver plus a flex. Yeah, I'd still go in the 10-teamer. I'd still lean running back. Full PPR 12-team redraft. Landon also don't even remember. I fly through so many questions. I don't remember what questions are even available. All right, so we're a little bit above the 30-minute mark, and that's usually when I run out of here and the questions are coming to a dead halt. This is my fucking heartbeat. So that will wrap up Q&Aassault. Thank you guys that were in the chat that joined me, that are Big Dog members, of course. If you want to sign up for a membership and get access to next week's Q&Aassault, where you can personally assault me with your questions, I know draft time is here, so this will be a very popular time of the summer to do so. It is available on BDGE.store. You can ask me any questions in here. Memberships, you can get our draft guides on there, 2 separate products, but just read the fine print on the site. You won't be confused afterwards. What else do you get with the Big Dogs or the GOAT memberships? You get Q&Aassault. You get all of our access to all of our rankings. This is a monthly membership. Dynasty Rookie, season-long redraft. You get the ADP data. You get our in-season weekly rankings. You get access to the Discord channel, of course, which you could talk with all the people that are yelling in here about fantasy all night long. You get access to our Fab Guidance article that drops during the season, which we don't put anywhere else. We don't put our in-season weekly rankings anywhere else either. That is only for Big Dogs members and GOAT members. And then if you want to sign up for the Big Dog, or you want to sign up for the GOAT member tier, that actually gives you a private chat with myself in the Discord, which guaranteed answers, guaranteed personal questions. You literally are basically texting the bat phone. All right. I just realized next week's Q&Aassault, because it's the NYC BDGE draft weekend where we got subscribers flying out for the weekend. I will be busy Saturday, so we'll try to move that Q&Aassault to hopefully Sunday. I might be dead from that weekend, but we'll make sure we reschedule it. It might be Sunday. It might be Monday. It might be in your fucking dreams. I don't know. I love y'all. Hit the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.